Streaming is on.
Alrighty.
A very good evening, everybody. This is Golf Harbour Radio. Patricia and David back with you on this, well, it's a sort of an okay evening here. It's not been a very pleasant day. It's Thursday, the 8th of July, so that's good that we're moving through the winter months. But it has been a pretty miserable day, occasional rain and just chilly wind. It's 13 degrees at the moment, which I'm sure all of you folk in Fiji will, how grim, glad we were up here. But it's about 40% cloud cover, 1009.4 and steady, and about 12 knots from the west-southwest. So that's our weather, and I'm sure it's much more pleasant where you are. All right, we usually start with the Fiji grim COVID news, and it is grim today. 3 more deaths, bringing the total to 42. 791 new cases in Viti Levu, and we still can't find that there's anything anywhere else. Whether there is or there isn't, we just don't know because nothing has been advised. And anyway, the total of active cases is now 6,524. Bali. Well, if you're wanting to know what other tourist destinations are doing, they want to open up to tourists, but are still getting about 200 cases a day. And evidently, when it gets down to about 30 to 40 cases a day, they're going to open up to vaccinated tourists. I looked up what Fiji might do with vaccinated tourists, but they have not made any decision on that at this stage. So you guys cruising in are really, really lucky. Hope you know that and are looking after that privilege. Well, just to change the subject for a minute, I mentioned a few weeks ago about this 10,000 step a day business. Well, you can improve longevity, particularly if you're a woman, by doing only 7,500 a day.
That makes a difference.
That's a big difference, isn't it? Evidently, you need to exercise at least 150 minutes a week. Now, this is in addition to just moving around doing the normal things like chores. Yes, I knew you'd growl at that. Half an hour a day, basically, in addition to just those other things like vacuuming and tidying up.
That's bad for your back. Vacuuming is bad for your back.
So, there you are. Those of you from the United States, particularly Florida, Elsa is causing havoc at the moment. It made landfall today. Bringing a big storm surge, heavy rain and wind, flooding up and down the coast. I should have mentioned that New South Wales, Sydney, their lockdown has been extended, but you probably know that, and it won't affect you guys up in Fiji. But of interest, an 11-year-old Belgian boy has just completed his degree in quantum physics.
Yeah.
Took him 18 months. Evidently, he's an absolute amazing child prodigy. This looks like a normal kid doing normal things, but he is very, very bright. So he's now going to be doing degrees in Britain and Israel and somewhere other else to just keep himself interested in the things that he's interested in, biotechnology by the sound of it. Okay, if that makes you feel a bit slow on it, let's have a look at the boats. Morwenna, the British boat that left from here by herself, has arrived in the southwest corner of Viti Levu, so presumably she'll be checking in tomorrow. Very pleasant up there by the look of it, about 8 knots from the south, so a nice day to arrive. Now, the boats that left yesterday from New Zealand, and I expected Castile, the only monohull of the group, to be sort of at the back, but no, they're leading at the moment, 32 degrees and 174.48. She's doing 8.4 on a course of 0.43 for a 13-metre boat. It's a very narrow one though, 4 metre. That is incredibly good. 22 knots of southwest wind. So a very good push from behind.
There you can see.
Yes, there I can see. I can definitely see it over David's shoulder. The others are not very far behind. Argo's at 32.10, 174.57, and Calypso's at 32.12, 174.53. So there's a group of three there, and Moxie is a little bit further back, 32.58, 175.35. So they've got plenty of wind behind them, which of course is not exactly appreciated by Freewind, who is trying to go the reverse direction and can't. They look as if they are just hove to at the moment. They are at 26 south, 176 east, supposedly 1.1 knots at a course of 124. It's a southwest 16, and it will be up and down a bit. So, yep, not. They'll just have to put up with that for a couple of days. I think I haven't really looked
late
too far
Saturday to Sunday, they'll have the winds behind.
Okay, late Saturday and into Sunday. Well, that's not too bad, I don't suppose, because they've had a pretty good run to where they are at the moment. All right, that's about it from me, except a hilarious post from Jeffrey. Those of you who remember Jeffrey on Flying Fish, he's been in the Mediterranean for quite some time. His latest post is from Sardinia, where he purchased 500 grams of a cheese called Casu Marzu. It has been banned in Italy since 1962, but it is available on the black market in some of these village markets. And so he bought some. It's a cheese that's infested with worms or maggots, if you want to call them. It is maggots. They sort of leave it out for a particular fly that loves cheese. They take off the crust and the flies come. The maggots form. It produces this incredibly stenchy, slimy, slippery stuff.
Oh, that's enough.
That's enough, says David. Okay. But Jeffrey tasted it because Sardinians evidently live longer than anyone else in the world, and there must be a reason. I'm not sure that it is Casu Marzu, but anyway, he's given it a go.
Yeah.
It sounds pretty disgusting, doesn't it? Well, on that note, as you're all preparing to have your hors d'oeuvres with drinks at 5 o'clock, here's David.
Man, I can't imagine. What you would have to drink a lot of something very powerful before you tasted that stuff.
His picture showed a glass of red wine with it.
I bet it wasn't wine. It was probably straight vodka. Anyhow, once again, hi from the Gulf Harbour Radio Weather Desk with the synoptic prognosis for Friday, tomorrow, lunchtime. The eastward going complex depression has its axis at about 170 west, 170 west. Now there's a number of fronts that are running north and then arc over to the northwest. We talked about those yesterday and the day before. One starts off at East Cape and goes from there as another one reaches up to 25 south and the dateline. And then there's a trough that extends from a cold front to affect northern Tonga and onward toward Fiji. Now, satellite imagery this afternoon shows the cloud band approaching pretty much near Kendavu, a little bit south of Kendavu, and then it goes onward to lie over Vanuatu. Cruisers heading north, the couple that we have, they may, depending upon how fast they go and how fast these troughs and fronts are moving, they will encounter these fronts. The first one are roughly 25 south and the dateline. Now, I'm interpreting most of this from recent satellite imagery, trying to make a guess as to what they're going to encounter as they head north, but nothing too dramatic. Now, the Tasman High is quite elongated. Its axis runs from New Caledonia to 40 south and 155 east. That's the axis of the high. It's weak. I'd say it's about 1024 millibar. It really is shaped, if you were to look at it on a synoptic chart, looks like a cucumber. That's the shape of the isobows. So anyhow, for those people in Fiji, Fiji Met tells us an easterly wind is going to prevail, 10 to 15 knots. The outlook for Friday, tomorrow, that's going to change. Expect south to southeast winds about 10 to 15 knots with moderate seas and a moderate southerly swell. And my forecast for Saturday, moving one more day, is southeast winds in the 20 knot range, 20. We should start to see a bit of a shift in the winds on Monday, east to northeast winds in the 15 knot range. So anyhow, that's how I see things progressing as of today. And really, that's it for me. So here is the chief.
Well, it would be. Can you just talk a minute?
Oh, she's busy doing something here.
Yeah, it's a bit hard when you're...
Well, looking at some of the progs as the days roll on here, going through the weekend and whatnot, I'll be talking about a low that's developing. It's a complex low. It's going to be found in the mid-Tasman. One of the lows is going to be between, I would say North Cape and New Caledonia, just northwest of North Cape. The other one is going to be around 30 south and roughly 160 east. So there's a pair of them. And from that, there'll be a frontal band that's going up, looks like, to New Caledonia. And then from there, it goes up into the Solomons. Well off to the east, that big high that we had, I would say, one that we were talking about in the last couple of days, that's well east, will be well east by this weekend. Probably, I would say, out there at about maybe 130 west. But it ridges. It's got a ridge that goes all the way out to Fiji, believe it or not. So it's providing easterly, east-southeast winds that'll be in the light to moderate category. So that's roughly Sunday coming up. So are you ready?
Yes.
Yeah, she's ready. Here she is. Are you drinking coffee?
I tell you, I've learned that my new computer needs a few chokes on it because trying to adjust anything when the microphone is in use and there's a lot of RF around the radio room is very, very difficult. Okay, is there anybody wanting to join us? Please call now.
The mob is overwhelming.
Yeah, David said the mob is overwhelming. It would be nice to know that we are reaching Fiji. So if anyone cares to pick up the microphone, it would be nice to hear. We'll listen now.
Harbour Radio, this is Castile. Is you copy?
Yes.
Oh, Castile, yes. Congratulations for leading the mob out of the country. Over.
Yeah, thank you. Been a good trip so far, really quick, and still a bit more wind out here, so it should be good.
Yeah, well, you're certainly doing well at the moment. You probably heard me say yesterday, I guess the one monohull might be left behind a bit. So you are really holding up the flag for we monohull people. So yeah, going well. Excellent. So what are the seas like? Over.
Still really confused. We've had a bit of a rain, but it's nicely settling into a southerly swell of probably 2 metres now.
Oh, that's not too bad, and of course it's giving you a push. So yeah, well done. Are you going to dinner out or sabe sabe?
We'll clear it and quarantine at dinner out, and then get out from there.
Okay, I'm just going to pass the microphone, seeing as you're on air. David has a bit more to add.
Oh, a customer. I can't believe it. How are you doing good now? There's going to be a little bit of a wind shift for you that you're not going to like probably, and this is going to be in the Sunday time frame. So you're going to encounter the back end of that ridge I was talking about just a few minutes ago. So the winds are going to wind up being basically northerly vibrant by Sunday. And then just to the west, we have that complex low that we talked about. That's also going to aid and abet those northern winds. So unfortunately, come Sunday, it'll be pretty much on the nose for you. And by Monday, it looks like they're going to back even more. It looks like northwesterlies, and there'll be a trough in there as well. It all depends on what latitude you are by then. I'm not sure where you will be, but feel free. We'll be on again tomorrow. So if you need any more current weather info, I'm sure you're getting plenty on the boat. But if you need more, we'll be happy to give it to you. Over.
Yeah, thanks for that. I appreciate that. You were there to give me the immediate one, so tomorrow and
Yeah, I'll be on tomorrow, and yes, you're doing exceptionally well. How many crew? Over?
2 crew and 2.5 crew.
2 crew and 2.5 crew. I guess that's a family. All right, lovely to talk to you. We'll clear with Castile on their way north to Dinara. Is there anybody else? No, nothing heard. I was hopeful that Moondust might have managed to program their radio to transmit on 8752 as well as listen. So, Belina, if you're out and about, if you are in the vicinity of Moondust, if you could give Peter a hand, that would be great. Okay, folks, that's it from us. We'll go back to in front of the fire, and we will be with you tomorrow. Cheers, everybody. Have a good night, and stay safe, those at sea. ZMH 286 Gulf Harbour Radio is clear.